This keeps cutting out on me. I don't even. Anyway, I didn't like the laptop. I might have to go back to it. For some reason, the phone's not playing ball with me. I don't even know what got captured there or not. Anyway, Kerry Arnold put together an expedition down to Florida with another guy, bunch of researchers, called it 168 hours. And I was going to go on the second one, and that one got canceled because Kerry was killed in a head-on collision shortly after getting off work one day. He had a long drive from western Texas back to his home in Mississippi, and I can't really speak to too much. I've got a theory though that without knowing any real facts, I've got my skeptical mind. My conspiracy mind is thinking that it wasn't really an accident, that Kerry was essentially assassinated. Um, don't know who else was involved in the accident, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what happened. Like I said, the government is covering up all this Sasquatch stuff. They know there's people in the government that know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what Sasquatch are, know exactly what their abilities are. They're leaving us all in the dark. They're leaving us out here to continue to run into them and have encounters and putting basically the general public in danger, which is pure evil. I'm not going to go right now into a deep delve into the subject of Sasquatch and what I think they are and all that stuff. But Kerry had a really good channel. He was really what Kerry was in the Bigfoot community was a unifier. If you know much about the Bigfoot community at all, it's very divided. People are very protective of their information, of their research. Everyone, I think, wants to be the one that cracks the case and is the one that's associated with proving they exist. Everyone wants to be the next Patterson Gimlin. If you know who that is, those are the two guys that got the camera footage of the female Sasquatch there in Northern California back in, I can't remember what year. I'm sure it's I should know that, but anyway, there's a lot of division, a lot of people that don't get along in the community, and Kerry was definitely a unifier. Kerry made it okay for people to get along and work together, and he had just had an outstanding channel. Kerry, as an amateur filmmaker, he's just a regular guy, just like you and me. Kerry made about 11 different documentaries. And Kerry was not a researcher. Kerry had his encounter, and then a few years later, his way of dealing with his encounter and everything that he went through, he decided he wanted to make a channel that was going to be devoted to telling the story basically of researchers and people that have these encounters, people that have them on their land, people that see them frequently. And there are people that have these beings on their property and see them frequently and have encounters frequently. You can be skeptical and call BS all you want, but I mean, the truth is the truth, whether you like it or not. They're not all just bears. I'm going to tell you, truth is stranger than fiction in a lot of this stuff. In a lot of this stuff, it's all crazy. But go check out, even though it's no longer an active channel, just for the sake of getting a lot of good information on the subject, go check out some of Kerry's documentaries. I'm not going to sit here and say you got to watch all 11 of them. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of podcasts where they've got different guests. Some of them are really good, and maybe someday I'll come back and broach the subject and go over some that I highly recommend. Probably the one that There's a few really good ones. One that stands out is Fred Fred something from Alaska. He had a run in with some really big evil ones up there, and he's got a pretty good description of what he went through in his encounter. But just finding Kerry's encounter and listening to his story. And the thing about Kerry's encounters, his story never changed. I've heard him tell his story on different people's channels, on his channel, several times. And it's the same, that's one thing they say about, if people are lying. A lot of times the little details in their stories will change. They have a hard time keeping the details straight. Kerry's story is exactly word for word identical from one channel to the next. So you'd be hard pressed to convince me that he wasn't telling 100% the truth about his encounter. And he did have a Sasquatch however many feet away from him, yelling and screaming at him, basically to get the hell out of his territory. Take his gun and get the hell out of there, or else, That might not have been what the Sasquatch was saying, but that's the message that Kerry got. And he got out of there thinking that he wasn't going to get out of there. So, Bigfoot Odyssey is the name of the channel. Go check it out. One of the things I want to talk today about in this episode is the huge cancer that is on not just American society, but society all around the world. And I don't really have a cure for it, but corruption in government is just a cancer on all countries. All countries are. How do we get rid of corruption in government? It's just out of control. Especially with the Biden administration, just unbelievable. I saw a video yesterday. Some reporter, I can't remember where he was from, but had video of this kid that works for, I think, the EPA or somebody. And this kid was a little bit drunk and was basically telling this guy about how, they've got right up until noon on January 20th to dump billions and billions of dollars out of their budgets into all these nonprofits. And this is something that I've talked about before, just on Facebook posts, saying how, in the last year, Biden has dumped billions and billions of dollars onto these nonprofits that are ran by liberals and Democrats, nonprofits that have sprung up within the last 12 months. All of a sudden, how blatant can the corruption get? I'm not a fan of the whole weaponizing of the Justice Department, like the Democrats did trying to take Trump down because they were so scared of him running and winning.